there. Thanks for joining me for another fitness video. Thanks for liking and for subscribing to my YouTube channel. It means a lot to me. And I love reading the comments too, and I will answer them. I was recently at a swim meet on the Schuylkill River, just outside of Philadelphia, right near my house. So I took my camera over to interview some of the athletes, take pictures, and I will make a video about that. But while I was there, I saw a woman standing there with a sign that said something about hugs. So I went over to find out what that was about. That's when I met Edie. Edie has survived a heart attack, and she talks about the symptoms. And she also talks about how she survived it, how she recovered, and how she's about to do a 5K in a few months. But she's also using hug therapy to help herself and others. So this is a great story. And she also talks about what it's like when you walk up to a total stranger to get a hug. What happens then? Here's her story.
My name is Edie Weinstein, and I am a hug mobster armed with love. And Hug Mobsters got started Valentine's Day weekend 2014 when I brought a group of friends to 30th Street Station, which is a big train station in Philadelphia, because I wanted people to understand that Valentine's Day isn't just one day a year, and it's not just about romantic love. It's about all kinds of love. And we live in a world that's so divided, and hugs bring people together. Hugs increase the brain chemical oxytocin. So what I say is more oxytocin means less OxyContin. It helps with physical pain, it helps with stress management, with depression, brings people together. Most people grew up in homes where touch was either limited, non-existent, violent, abusive, or coerced, or sexual. And when people experience healthy touch by consent, it feeds skin hunger, which I think is just as essential to meet as food hunger. So I brought a group of friends, 12 of us, to 30th Street Station, and we did a free hugs flash mob. One of the most powerful experiences that happened that day was that there was an Iraqi war vet who came up to us and said that he had lost everyone in his battalion.
Oh,
he was
gosh.
the only survivor.
Wow.
And he was, he had some suicidal thoughts. So he said, I was really ready to kill myself until I met you people. Can I join you? So we gave him a free hug sign, and he walked around 30th Street Station giving and receiving hugs as well. Now, the other thing to know is that when you hug somebody as the giver, you're also the receiver.
Yeah.
I'm not totally altruistic. I do this because hugs feel good. Yeah. So friends started calling us hug mobsters, and I said, ooh, mobsters, guns, drugs, violence, doesn't really sit well with me. But I said, what about armed with love? So we started doing this anywhere and everywhere we could. And in June of 2014, at the age of 55, on the way home from the gym, I had a heart attack. Never expected it.
Oh, you had a heart attack?
I had a heart attack, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And there were a lot of factors. Genetic, my mother had died of congestive heart failure a few years earlier. My cholesterol and my blood pressure were through the roof. I had an incredibly stressful job. I was working as a therapist in an outpatient drug and alcohol rehab. I was working 12, 14-hour days, maybe sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night for something like 2 years.
Wow.
And I am a recovering workaholic. Now, workaholism is probably the only addiction that's encouraged, so I would say that sleep was highly overrated. So the heart attack happened, and this is something that women need to understand, is that our symptoms are very different from men. On the way home from the gym, it felt like somebody had grabbed my jaw and just wouldn't let go.
Wow.
Torrential sweats. I'd already cooled down after my workout. Palpitations, nausea, lightheadedness, and searing heartburn pain. Like the worst you could ever imagine. And I must have been oxygen deprived because I didn't go straight to the hospital. I drove home. Wow. I called and canceled with my clients for the day. I said, I'm not feeling very well. And then the thought was, oh, I'm really sweaty. I need to take a shower. What are you doing, woman? Get yourself to the hospital.
Yeah, you were in denial, right?
I was in denial.
Oh.
I drove. When within a couple days after the heart attack, I started walking again, and it was one step at a time, like walking through a labyrinth. I could barely breathe. When I went to cardiac rehab, I was talking on the machines, and they said, stop talking, focus on your breathing. I said, you don't understand. I talk for a living. I need to be able to walk and talk at the same time. So, because
what is your background?
I'm a licensed social worker. I'm a therapist. I'm an interfaith minister. I'm a journalist. I give presentations. So I talk a lot for a living. Yeah. And I don't know if I had my radio show back then, but again, I needed to be able to vocalize and move at the same time.
Yeah.
So within a few months, I was back exercising, cardiac rehab 3 to 4 times a week, and then walking in the interim, the in between days. And what I found from talking to other heart attack survivors is that the first part of recovery is physical.
Yeah.
The second part is emotional. This woman who I met in cardiac rehab said, "You've suffered a trauma." I said, no big deal. I've got supports. I'm fine. She said, "No, a heart attack is a trauma. Your body, So I was still in denial.
Yeah.
Emotionally, my parents had died a few years earlier. I was in denial about that. I just kind of toughed it out.
Yeah.
So the hug mobster thing really came in handy because I started doing them more often. I started walking in Doylestown, in Philadelphia, as part of my cardiac rehab. And when I hug people, particularly now, post-election, I don't know who anybody voted for. I don't know what anybody's lifestyle choices are. I don't know what their religion is. I don't know anything about them other than they're a human being. I'll ask the parent if it's okay with your child, can I hug him or her? And then I ask the child. Because the child is no, it's no. And occasionally people will turn me down, not very often. And usually they'll say, "Nah, I'm good." And I'll say, "I know you're good, but go hug somebody."
Yeah.
Because we need that connection. And when they say, "Well, I'm not very touchy-feely," then I'll hug them from a distance.
Right.
On Sunday, I was at South Street in Philadelphia for Saturday, Global Free Hugs Day. And I must have hugged 100 people at least in a 3 or 4 hour period. In October 15th, friends and I put together an event called Hugs Across America. And there were 20 cities throughout the country where people were hugging. Ours was in Philadelphia in front of the Love Sculpture. And there were probably 8 or 9 of us that hugged then. So what I encourage people to do is to experience hugs from the heart for the heart. What brought me here, a friend of mine is a photographer who's wandering around taking pictures. He encouraged me to come out to hug the athletes that were here because I think it encourages people when they have that human contact. That some of them were saying, "Oh yeah, it'll make me swim faster."
Yeah, because we're at a swim race right now.
Yeah, it's a little chilly out there, and I'll hug people again if they want after that. If they've taken their wetsuits off.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to be doing is my first 5K in September. So my friends that are triathletes have said, "Oh, we'll get you doing a triathlon." No. Let's just start with a 5K. I used to be a competitive swimmer when I was a kid.
That is great.
So this is just exciting. This is my way of giving back, and what I encourage people to do is hug any and everywhere they can.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, congrats for coming back from, such a terrible thing, a heart attack, and then you got back to exercise, and now this hug program, you're going to heal yourself and others.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess I'll take a hug.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Edie, for that story. I'm going to put the link to Hugs Across America so you also can get involved. Or just go out and hug somebody today. I think it's beneficial for all of us. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.